Libra, something powerful is happening right now and you felt it. That's why you're here. This isn't just a tarot reading. This is a divine alert. A spiritual danger is approaching you, and someone very close, someone you trust, may be the one draining your energy without you even realizing it. Whether you've been waking up more tired, sensing a strange heaviness around certain people, or noticing that your intuition has gone quiet lately, trust that you didn't imagine it. That was your soul trying to speak. And today, we're going to listen. Welcome, beautiful soul, to Zodiac Whisper Tarot. I'm deeply honored that you've arrived here not randomly, but because your energy called in this message. Every time a Libra shows up like this, it's never accidental. There is always a reason. The universe doesn't whisper without purpose, and today it's speaking loudly through synchronicity, through sacred timing, and now, through this very message. You are standing at a turning point. On the outside, you may still be offering grace, still keeping the peace, still trying to balance everyone's needs. But inside something feels off. Uneasy. Dimmed. And the truth is, someone around you, someone with a smile on their face and words of support on their lips, may secretly be carrying a vibration of envy or control that is pulling you out of alignment. This isn't about blame. This is about energetic awareness. And Libra, I want you to hear this with love. The most dangerous energy isn't always the one around you, it's the one inside you that stays silent when it should speak. The one that doubts your intuitive knowing. The one that convinces you to keep tolerating what your soul no longer consents to. But today, we break that cycle. We name what has been hidden. We protect your field and awaken your light. There's a reason you were pulled to this video right now, in this very moment. And if you stay with me until the end, you'll understand not only how to clear this danger but how to reclaim your power in a way that transforms your relationships, your health, and your destiny. Before we go deeper, allow me to say from the heart, thank you. Truly. Thank you for being here, for being present, for trusting this space. Every like, every comment, every new subscriber is not just support for this channel, it's part of a sacred ripple that expands our healing community. Your energy matters more than you know. And yes, your presence right now is a signal to the universe that you're ready for something greater. So let's co-create this shift together. If this message already resonates with something you've been feeling lately, drop a comment below and say, I'm ready to receive the truth and protect my energy. That's how you claim it. That's how you let the universe know you're listening. Now tell me, Libra, what was the moment, the feeling, or the quiet sign that led you here today? Don't second guess it. Your soul remembers the path, even when your mind forgets. Stay with me until the end, because what the universe is about to reveal could change everything. Sometimes, the danger doesn't come with a loud knock or a dramatic confrontation, it arrives with a smile. It wears the face of someone who seems to care, someone who always knows how to say the right thing, someone who stays close enough to be trusted, but not close enough to be truly seen. And Libra, as someone deeply attuned to harmony and connection, you often open your energy field generously, giving people the benefit of the doubt even when your intuition quietly raises an alarm. This part of your journey asks you to look again, not with suspicion, but with clarity. There may be someone in your life who doesn't wish you harm in an obvious way. They may even believe they're acting from affection. But behind the surface, they carry a frequency of comparison, of jealousy, of silent resentment. That energy may not always be verbalized, but it leaks into the room when you're celebrating something. It tightens the air when you're evolving. And when you shine, they shrink, and in that shrinking, they unconsciously try to dim your light so they feel safe again. Energetically, this can feel like fatigue that has no medical explanation, like momentum being blocked without clear cause, or like opportunities that were sure things suddenly slipping away. When your field is being drained, especially by someone you're emotionally connected to, the signs are subtle but serious. You start second-guessing yourself. You shrink your joy. You delay your dreams. Not because you don't want them, but because your subconscious is reacting to the invisible resistance around you. This is where the reversed Seven of Swords becomes significant. In tarot, this card isn't just about theft, it's about hidden motives, secrets, and misalignment within relationships. When reversed, it reveals truths that have long been ignored. It suggests that what you perceive on the surface is not the full story, and it calls you to trust the quiet knowing inside of you, even when it doesn't come with hard evidence. The Tower card reinforces this, not as a prediction of chaos, but as a reminder that foundations built on illusion must inevitably fall, so that what is real can rise in their place. In astrology, as a Libra ruled by Venus, your gift is beauty, diplomacy, and connection. But that same gift can become a burden when it causes you to overlook energetic boundaries. You weren't meant to carry everyone's emotions as your own. Your light isn't meant to be filtered to protect others from their own insecurities. You were designed to reflect divine balance, but balance requires discernment, not just kindness. This is where the wisdom of sacred teachings gently steps in. Sometimes we're told to love even our enemies, but that love doesn't mean access. Forgiveness doesn't mean self-sacrifice. You're allowed to step back. You're allowed to choose peace even if it means disappointing someone who is more attached to your presence than your well-being. One of the quietest commandments woven into every spiritual path is this: protect what is sacred. And that includes you. So Libra, take a breath here and feel into this question. Who in your life leaves you more confused than comforted? Who drains your energy more than they pour into it? Who leaves you questioning your worth after every conversation? Those aren't coincidences. Those are signals. And in this sacred moment, you are being asked not to accuse, not to react, but to see. Just see clearly. The truth will do the rest. Because the moment you reclaim your awareness, the energy that once kept you stuck will start to shift. You don't have to fight darkness, you simply have to stop dimming your light for it. There are times in life when we drift so far from ourselves that even our own voice begins to sound foreign. Libra, you of all signs understand the art of weighing both sides, of seeing all perspectives. But when that gift is overused, it turns into a loop of indecision, a quiet war between your head and your heart. And right now, your inner scales aren't just off balance, they're being pulled by forces that don't belong to you. You may not even realize it, but something in your life has gradually silenced your intuition, replaced it with external noise, and dimmed the quiet wisdom you were born with. Imagine steering a boat across a moonless sea. There are no stars above, no lighthouse on the horizon, only the echo of the waves and your mind trying to remember the last time you knew which way was home. That's what it feels like to live without your inner compass. You're still moving, but not in a direction that brings peace. You're still choosing, but not with clarity. You're not lost because you lack answers, Libra. You're lost because you stopped trusting the only guide that never lies, your intuition. The reversed Hierophant card appears when sacred inner truth is being drowned out by outside opinions, outdated beliefs, or the desire to do what's expected. You may have convinced yourself that overthinking is the same as wisdom, but they are not. Wisdom doesn't spin in circles. It speaks once, clearly, and with conviction. And it almost always comes from that subtle nudge within you, not from the loud voice of the world. Astrologically, Libra is ruled by Venus, the planet of love, beauty, and values. But when Venus energy is distorted, you begin valuing peace at the cost of truth, harmony at the cost of authenticity. You smile when you want to cry. You say yes when your whole body is screaming no. You chase validation outside because you've stopped validating your own knowing inside. But here's the truth: when you disconnect from your intuition, you disconnect from the divine design that was uniquely woven into your soul. From a spiritual perspective rooted in grace, this moment calls for gentle correction. Not punishment. Not shame. Just a return. A quiet turning back to yourself. There's a simple truth that echoes across faith traditions: the answers are not farther already written on your heart. You don't need to beg for clarity. You just need to remove what's been blocking it. Sometimes the clearest messages are the ones we've ignored for the longest. The nudge that said, "This doesn't feel right." The uneasy silence after you said yes when you meant no. The dream you forgot to write down but still haunts you in daylight. The law of attraction responds not just to our words or thoughts but to our alignment. When you live from disconnection, you attract confusion. When you act against your truth, you invite experiences that reinforce the very misalignment you're stuck in. That's why things feel off. That's why life has been more tiring than it needs to be. The universe isn't punishing you, it's showing you what happens when you live out of sync with yourself. And it's gently asking you to realign. So take a breath, Libra. Place your hand on your heart and ask yourself this, without fear: when was the last time I chose what felt right instead of what looked right? There's no shame in forgetting. Only grace in remembering. Your intuition is still there waiting patiently like a light you thought had gone out. But all it needs is your permission to shine again. And when it does, you'll find that every answer you've been seeking wasn't lost, it was simply waiting for you to believe in it again. At certain points in life, everything we've longed for begins to show up: opportunities, connections, breakthroughs, but instead of feeling excitement, we're met with hesitation, confusion, even fear. That's because not all golden doors are meant to be opened. Some are tests, carefully placed by the universe to measure not what we desire, but what we're ready to discern. Libra, this phase in your journey is not just about what you're attracting. It's about what you're allowing, what you're tolerating, and what you're choosing, especially when the wrong path is disguised as everything you've ever wanted. Sometimes, an offer arrives dressed in exactly what you've been praying for: a promising relationship, a job that seems too perfect, a chance to feel finally seen. But if your yes comes from a fear of being alone, from a craving to feel worthy in someone else's eyes, or from a desire to escape your current reality, then that choice isn't alignment, it's survival. The reversed Lover's card combined with the Devil is a powerful message. It's not about love or success, it's about temptation. It warns of seduction that feeds your weakest spot, only to cost you your peace later. You're not being asked to say no to what looks good. You're being asked to say yes only when your soul feels safe. When Jesus said that not everything that glitters comes from light, he meant that even blessings can become burdens if received in the wrong season. What's meant for you will never manipulate your sense of worth or force you to abandon your center. That's how you'll know. The right path won't ask you to betray yourself to feel chosen. So pause and ask, is this calling me closer to my truth, or farther away? And while your mind may be busy analyzing, your body has already responded. Lately, you may have noticed exhaustion that sleep doesn't fix. Restlessness in your chest. A nervous tension you can't explain. These aren't just physical symptoms, theory warning signals. When the soul is overwhelmed, the body becomes the messenger. The Nine of Swords speaks to sleepless nights not because of external chaos, but because your inner self is suffocating under silence, under the weight of things not being said or done. The Hanged Man reminds you, healing sometimes requires stillness. And stillness is not the same as stagnation, it is a sacred pause. This is the time to rebuild your energy from the ground up. Reset your habits gently. Prioritize deep, nourishing rest. Limit excessive caffeine and screen time. Try soft evening movement, like stretching or yin yoga, before bed. Give your nervous system permission to exhale. Remember, you can't hold light for others if your own flame is flickering. Your body is not your enemy. It's your ally asking for care, not criticism. And then there is love. The kind of love that lives outside of time, the soul-level connection many Libras silently hope for. That love may be hovering nearby, ready to enter but unable to anchor because your heart is still entangled with a past that hasn't been released. The Two of Cups reversed shows us a delay not of fate, but of energy. If your emotional space is still occupied by old hurt, by unspoken forgiveness, or unresolved pain, then divine love will wait patient, but paused. To shift this, begin with sacred self-work. Write a letter to the one who hurt you, not to send, but to release. Cut cords not from hate, but from freedom. Choose to make room for the love you say you want by healing the love you no longer need. And most of all, forgive yourself for holding on so long. You were only trying to protect a version of you that didn't know how to let go yet. Every soul you've encountered has shaped your path. But not all of them are meant to walk it with you. And in releasing them with grace, you make space for the kind of love that doesn't come to test you, comes to remind you who you are. There are moments in life when we begin to feel as though we're carrying a weight that doesn't quite belong to us. The emotions feel too old. The patterns feel too familiar. The same struggles show up in different forms: money slipping through your fingers, relationships ending before they deepen, a strange tension with receiving love or trusting stability. And Libra, this isn't your imagination. What you're sensing is real. You are not only navigating your own life, you are standing at the threshold of a generational shift. The Judgment card appears here not to warn you, but to wake you. It is the call of the soul reminding you that your life is not just a personal journey. It is also a sacred invitation to end the cycles that have haunted your lineage. These inherited energies, poverty mindsets, fear of intimacy, emotional shutdown, or chronic overgiving, aren't character flaws. They're residues. Residues of what your parents, grandparents, and generations before them endured without resolution. The choices they made were often out of survival. But you, dear Libra, are not here just to survive. You were born with enough awareness to ask deeper questions. To interrupt the story. To write a new one. You are the one your bloodline has been waiting for. Not to carry the burden but to break it. That process begins with identity. So much of who you think you are was shaped in response to what others expected from you. The reversed Fool card is a symbol of that conditioning. It tells us that somewhere along the way, you started playing a role, adapting your light to fit into spaces that couldn't handle your truth. You became a polished version of yourself not out of dishonesty, but out of the need to belong. But there comes a time when the version others created for you becomes too small for your spirit. And when that happens, the discomfort you feel isn't a crisis. It's a signal. You don't need to go back to who you were. You need to return to who you've always been, beneath the performance. And yet, in this age of digital connection, reclaiming the self has never been more difficult. With the flood of curated content, unrealistic standards, and the pressure to always be on, it's no wonder that many Libras feel overstimulated, underinspired, and mentally scattered. The combination of the Seven of Wands and the Eight of Swords reflects this mental entrapment. Not because you aren't strong enough to break free but because your mind is overwhelmed by noise. Not the kind you can hear but the kind that manipulates from the background, subliminal suggestions, comparison loops, false urgency. When your nervous system is under digital siege, clarity becomes impossible. This is why a digital detox isn't just a lifestyle trend, it's a spiritual necessity. Try stepping away from screens for just 3 days. Replace the scroll with silence. Replace stimulation with stillness. Go outside without your phone. Breathe without distraction. Pay attention to what your mind wants to think about when no one else is thinking for you. You'll begin to feel the fog lift. You'll remember what your voice sounds like. And more importantly, you'll remember what it feels like to be fully present in your own life. As someone who values beauty, balance, and connection, you thrive when your inner world is clean. And sometimes the most divine thing you can do isn't to add more light but to remove the layers that are dimming the light that was already there. Remember, breaking a cycle isn't about fighting the past, it's about choosing differently in the present. So take this as your permission to do so. Quiet the noise, reclaim your space, and come home not to who the world wanted you to be, but to who you already are. Not every turning point in life comes with a trumpet. Some arrive softly disguised as a casual conversation, a delayed message, or a sudden shift in mood that you can't quite explain. Libra, what you're stepping into now is not just another week or another month. It's an energetic corridor, a cosmic opening in which 3 gateways connected to your health, your love life, and your greater purpose are aligning simultaneously. And the question isn't whether they will appear. They will. The question is, will you be present enough to recognize them? These opportunities don't look extraordinary at first glance. They might show up in a phone call from someone you haven't spoken to in years. A feeling of deep restlessness while doing something that once comforted you. A sudden attraction to a book, an idea, or even a place you've never considered before. The universe works through resonance, not fanfare. And when your soul is ready, the guidance comes not with a shout but with a gentle echo in the form of synchronicity. Judgment, the star, and the chariot together tell a powerful story. Judgment whispers, something is being decided right now. Not by others but by you. The star assures that hope and healing are within reach, but only if you remain rooted in faith and not fear. And the chariot says the momentum is already building. What matters now is your direction. These three cards together don't predict, they activate. They signal that time is accelerating and that your consciousness is the steering wheel. When the energy around you is this heightened, you can't afford to make unconscious choices. Every yes, every no, every hesitation carries amplified consequences. That doesn't mean you need to live in fear of choosing wrong. It means you need to choose awake. A simple question can guide you. Does this option expand my soul, or does it contract it? If it brings lightness, movement, and peace, even if it scareth, that's a sign to move forward. If it brings confusion, guilt, or the sense that you're betraying yourself, that's your signal to pause. In moments like this, it's easy to fall back into habits of overthinking or avoidance. But clarity is not found in constant analysis, it's found in alignment. And alignment doesn't come from perfection. It comes from presence. The more honest you are with yourself, the easier it is to read the signs. One of the quiet teachings we often overlook is this: wisdom rarely shouts. It often comes in stillness, in gentleness, in the ability to ask, what is true for me right now? That's where power begins, not in grand gestures, but in small, intentional awareness. It's also important to remember that divine timing is not delayed, it's preparing. If you feel like you've been waiting for something to move, to shift, to break open, this could be the moment. But only if you engage with it. That means showing up as who you are becoming, not who you've been. That means releasing the idea that you need proof before you believe. That means acting in faith, even when the outcome is uncertain. There's a quiet kind of responsibility that comes with this phase of awakening. You are no longer living reactively, you are being asked to live consciously. And not just for yourself. Your choices now ripple outward. They impact the people who will love you, learn from you, be inspired by you. That's why every seemingly small moment matters. A pause to breathe. A choice to say no. A decision to move in a direction you feared but always felt drawn to. These are sacred acts. So in these next 17 days, as the portals open, stay close to your center. Stay honest with your heart. Stay aware of the signs. You're not being tested. You're being invited. And the life waiting on the other side of these doors is not a reward, it's a reflection of who you've finally allowed yourself to become. Libra, if you've made it this far, I want you to pause right here, right now, and take one long, intentional breath. You've just walked through some deeply revealing truths, and whether you feel stirred, challenged, or even a little unsettled, that's a sign that your soul is listening. Everything you heard today wasn't meant to scare you, it was meant to awaken you. Because the truth is, the danger you sense around you is not here to destroy you. It's here to remind you of the power you forgot you had. You're not being punished, you're being positioned. This moment, right now, is a sacred crossroads. Continue living in the patterns that keep you small, or rise into the version of yourself you came here to be. And no, it won't always be comfortable. Choosing yourself never is, especially when you're used to choosing others first. But Libra, the world doesn't need another version of you that's been edited to please, softened to be palatable, or muted to avoid conflict. The world needs your truth, in full color. You don't need anyone's permission to begin again. You don't need to justify why you're finally putting yourself first. You only need to accept that you are worthy of the life you secretly dream about and then take the smallest, bravest step in that direction. So, what will you choose now that you've heard the call? Will you return to the safety of what you've outgrown, or will you answer the quiet knocking of your destiny? Will you keep shrinking around people who don't see your worth, or will you rise and become undeniable? The universe isn't going to drag you forward. It's going to offer you mirrors, moments, and chances. But it's your decision that activates the breakthrough. And I truly believe that if you're still here, you're already on the edge of that transformation. Let me ask you, Libra, what message today struck a chord within you? Which truth did you need to hear most? And now that you've heard it, what will you do differently, starting now? Go ahead and share in the comments. I read every one, and this community is a safe, sacred space to be seen, exactly as you are. If your heart feels aligned, type this affirmation below to lock in the energy of this reading. I am ready to receive all the protection and transformation the universe has for me. Let it be your conscious declaration of awakening. Before you go, I just want to say thank you truly for being here with me. Every time you like, comment, or subscribe, you help this energy ripple further, reaching someone else who might be where you were just a moment ago. Your presence is part of a greater movement, and your light matters more than you know. So don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications, because here at Zodiac Whisper Tarot, we're not just reading stars, we're rewriting stories. And trust me, Libra, you're going to want to be here for what's coming next.